Welcome back, everybody. Switching to topic number 2, Ukraine. Hello, all. Ukraine and Russia. Woo, warm in Mom's today. You can see I'm schwitzing or whatever the Yiddish word is, something like that. Oh my. Anyway, yes, we are back, and we are now talking Russia. Russia, Ukraine. To switch gears, as I said, I want to give the trolls a chance to bother the mods again. A whole different class of trolls. Although, boy, we had a lot of trolls on YouTube. I was surprised in that last segment. Wow, that was YouTube. Isn't usually as bad, but damn, they were schwitzing. There we go. Yep, they were out of control. I think I was straining my voice a little bit on that last one. I shouldn't have, because I can feel it a little bit. I'll be nicer to my voice on this one, but that's why the water helps. Oh, okay, guys. We'll take a quick second just to let some folks join in, and then I'll dive right in on the Ukraine news. Oh, man. But yes, I'm here. My dog is nicely asleep beneath me now. As I said, Sasha had a wart that had to be removed, but it was big enough that they couldn't do it with cryo. And she kept chewing at it, which was not good. So she had to have it removed today with, lidocaine local. But it stitches, so it hurts. So her painkiller was wearing off, and she was starting to whine a little before the show started. So I gave her painkiller and had her next to me on the chair. And anyway, I've been having to sort of watch her because I'm trying to make sure she doesn't do anything, jumping around and everything. Voice is hanging in there. It's feeling a little stressed. So I'm going to try to watch as I talk to you guys, try to watch my voice level, because I was straining it a little bit in the last one. You know what I didn't do? I keep needing to check my Wi-Fi to make sure it's the right Wi-Fi with you guys, because sometimes it's not, but it should be. I don't know if it is. Yeah, I worry about that. Let me know if it's buffering for everybody on TikTok or not. If it is, I will sign off really quick and come right back. But let me know. If it's only a couple people, then I'm not going to worry about it. If it's everybody, then, then I'll log off. Okay, that's fine then. Okay, that's enough good people. Enough good people. You're all good people. All right, guys. Let me dive right in, all right? At the end, I'm going to talk about the howitzer. We're up to $3,457, which is kind of amazing, for getting our message on the side of a howitzer in Ukraine. And the money will go towards a nonprofit in Ukraine that helps the troops, getting them sleeping bags, getting them the thermal glasses, getting them Starlink internet, you name it, food and medicine. So really big jump from yesterday. You guys are amazing. You can go to my profile. You all can go to my profile on TikTok, and you will find the links of where to give. It's PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. And I will grab it really quick for you guys here, and then I will jump right in, and we'll talk about it at the end as well. But this is good because also I've decided I'm going to apply a little bit of the earnings that, if necessary, that I got from the T-shirt sales, because I had said anyway I was going to split the T-shirt sales 50% to me, so I can pay for my work, and 50% to things in Ukraine. And this is a perfect example of what we can use it for. So I can even bump it up. We might even be at 4,000 if we add that stuff in, if we're lucky, which would be pretty amazing. So at least another 1,000, preferably 1,500, and we've hit our limit, and we can go for it. So please help if you can, guys. All right, let me jump right in. So the Gorbachev has died. Gorbachev was the Soviet leader, the last Soviet leader, the final Soviet leader. He is most famous for ushering in a period of what he called glasnost and perestroika, which was openness and restructuring. Basically, he helped dismantle the Soviet Union. He was the first Soviet leader who wasn't seemingly a total lunatic dictator. Thank you, Flash, for that. And now, important to know, and I'm not really very up on this either, but a number of Lithuanians and others were, maybe Latvians or Lithuanians, were chiming in on Twitter today and saying that, for folks in the West, Gorbachev may have done a lot of good things, but for folks in the Baltic states, he oversaw a really bad clampdown in, I believe, 1990, and did it in part because he didn't want the hardliners to turn against him in Russia. This was still the Soviet Union at this point. So important to mention that point. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Russia because Gorbachev is so not like Putin. And Gorbachev literally oversaw the dismantling of the Soviet Union, and Putin is trying to reconstitute the Soviet Union. So it'll be interesting. Let's get back to the counteroffensive. So Ukraine's counteroffensive, right? Still going on. We're in day 2 or so. As I explained yesterday, we are not sure, and we're still not sure, and the Ukrainians aren't going to tell us if this is the beginning of a huge counteroffensive or the beginning of a little counteroffensive. And what I mean by that is, are they just trying, for example, did they see an opportunity in northern Kherson, which is the westernmost province that the Russians are occupying in Ukraine right now? Did they see an opportunity to start going after the northern part of that province? And that's why they're attacking there? Or is this truly the beginning of a much larger counteroffensive that is the Ukrainians preparing to take back the entire province of Kherson, the entire province of Zaporizhzhia, eastern Ukraine, even Crimea, right? We don't know. What we do know is the number, yesterday we had heard about 4 different attacks that the Ukrainians, 4 different fronts the Ukrainians had launched. Now, as of today, that number went up to at least 12. So 12 different fronts that the Ukrainians were attacking on from in northern Kherson. I don't have my map in front of me, but Kherson is a province, southern Ukraine, right north of Crimea. Crimea is that peninsula in the south of Ukraine that the Russians stole back in 2014. But it is still Ukrainian. So Kherson is the province right north of there. Anyway, we don't know. What we do know is Zelensky said today that there is heavy fighting. This was his quote: heavy fighting in almost the entire territory of Kherson, the region. So Zelensky is at least indicating that this is about taking back all of Kherson. Now, again, he could be putting out misinformation, right? I mean, you don't necessarily always want to tell your enemy what you're planning on doing, but at least from what Zelensky's saying, it sounds like this is a battle for the entire region, which would be pretty amazing. The other thing is, look, it is expected that this is not going to be quick. Now, having said that, maybe it will. I mean, maybe the Russian forces will collapse, but the Russians have had many months to dig in, and it is always easier to defend than to attack, because when you defend, you've literally dug in your defenses, and the other guy's trying to shoot you out of an area that you're protected, and you're poking out of little holes and shooting them. I mean, it is a much harder position to be in. And now that the Russians have been occupying southern Ukraine, the Russians are the defenders, and the Ukrainians are the offense, right? So something to keep in mind. Reportedly, this was interesting. This came from Igor Girkin, who is a Russian former military. He blogs about the war. He is very far right, very conservative, in support of the war, but critical of how Putin's been handling the war, okay? So listen to this. Girkin claimed today that Russian artillery guns in Kherson, and Kherson is the province that we're talking about here, right? The main province that we thought the counteroffensive was gonna start in, that Russian artillery guns are overheating and malfunctioning because they have they're overheating and malfunctioning, and they have no spare parts to fix them because the bridges are all down. Now, remember we kept talking about about the Ukrainians hitting these 3 bridges in southern Ukraine. The 3 bridges are on the northernmost part of the Kherson region, the region we're talking about. Well, what you've got is, let's just pretend this, I mean, to make it easy, right? The square is the region. It kind of is a square, more or less. You get to the north of the region, and there's the Dnipro River going across, and then there's a little sliver of the north of the region, right north of the river, that is still controlled by the Russians. Well, that river has got bridges across. The Ukrainians have been hitting those bridges every day, again and again and again, for like a month now. And they've done a really good job of making the bridges unusable. And the Russians have been fixing them. The Ukrainians destroy them again. The idea is the Ukrainians want to, I think it seems pretty clear, go after those Russian troops that are north of the river and pretty much trapped, because they can no longer escape down south and join their brethren. There's about 15 to 20,000 Russian troops, I read today, in that area north of the river. And this is why the Ukrainians keep hitting those bridges, because A, they want to trap them there so that if they're routed, they can't escape. B, it stops them from getting reinforcements of men. It stops them from getting reinforcements of tanks. It stops them from getting reinforcements of ammunition. So of fuel for their tanks even, right? So very interesting what's been happening, and it gives you a sense of why it is Ukraine has been hitting these bridges and hitting these targets for the last month or so, because they've been preparing for this battle. Actually, even more than 15 to 20,000. New York Times said by early August, military analysts estimated that Russia had as many as 25,000 soldiers west of the Dnipro River, meaning I say northwest, same difference, because the river there is kind of going like this. So you could say west, you could say north, but 25,000. And the Russians have been trying to use a pontoon ferry instead of the bridges. The Ukrainians destroyed the ferry today, and the second ferry, the second sort of pontoon bridge the Russians had set up, was also destroyed as well today. So not so good for Moose and Squirrel. Zelensky threw in one other thing that was kind of interesting and odd. He said today, I want to once again draw the attention of all of our people in Crimea. Please stay as far as possible from Russian military facilities. Do not be near Russian bases and military airfields. I'm laughing because he's such a jerk. I mean, I'd say he's such a bitch. It's so snippy. He's trying to freak the Russians out. So he's telling, and it may be legitimate that they're planning on hitting the air bases again all over Crimea, but he's also, thank you, Kay, Zelensky's trying to freak the Russian soldiers out and say, oh, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the civilians, because we're going to blow up all those bases. So then the Russians are going, I don't want to be on the damn base. I saw what happened last time. So anyway, very interesting. This is my day job, Fuji. That's why I appreciate it when you guys can make donations. Institute for the Study of War. Let's switch to Zaporizhzhia. So Zaporizhzhia, the nuclear plant, the latest on that is that the UN nuclear inspectors have in fact arrived in Kyiv. They have not arrived at Zaporizhzhia. They have been trying to get down to Zaporizhzhia, but what's going on is the Russians have been blowing up the path, the road that the nuclear inspectors need to get to the nuclear plant. And the reason, and this is really just incredibly obnoxious, because for whatever crazy reason, the Russians want the nuclear inspectors to come like all the way around and either come through eastern Ukraine that they control, or through Crimea in the south, which they occupy. They don't want them coming straight down from Kyiv, which would make more sense because it's more direct. Why the Russians are doing this, who knows? But it's classic that the Russians, thank you, Flower Lady, it's classic that the Russians would be basically bombing the path of the nuclear inspectors. I mean, trying to prove your innocence, not doing well. There was satellite imagery from the 29th, which was yesterday, showing that Russian combat vehicles have been sheltering under the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant infrastructure very close to the reactor vessel. Excuse me. Who gave me the garland? Oh, Flower Lady. Yep. Thank you for the garland. Okay, looking here. Yep. The bombing. Oh, sorry, got you all of that. Okay. That's it for Zaporizhzhia. Fake HIMARS. This was a great story today, too. So the HIMARS, you remember, are the trolls not there tonight? Oh, they are out. Okay. The trolls are always out. I think we've been getting a little more popular on TikTok, these lives, and the Russian trolls are not happy about it. So sorry. Anyway, Ellie, we're not stopping, though. So the HIMARS. Okay. The HIMARS are the rocket system that the mobile rocket system, it's a mobile launch rocket system, MLRS, the HIMARS. It's a similar system. The U.S. has given the Ukrainians, and basically it allows them to shoot, I think, six weapons at once, or 6 rockets almost at once within like a minute of each other, and then they can scoot because it's mobile. It's almost like, imagine a pickup truck that's got a big square on the back that shoots rockets. Well, they shoot the rockets and they drive off. Why is that important? Because the Russians look at where the rockets came from, and they then get their artillery set to try to blow up the HIMARS. Well, the Russians have been not having very good luck. The Russians have been claiming, remember, the Russians claimed that they blew up even more HIMARS rocket systems than the Ukrainians have. And we've all been kind of scratching our head going, how did that happen? Now we know. The Ukrainians have been using fake HIMARS that they built out of wood as decoys for the Russians, and the Russians have been falling for it. And basically what happens is the Russian drones will fly over and they'll see the fake HIMARS and they'll think, oh yeah, that clearly is a truck carrying the missiles on the back. It's literally something out of wood that like your theater company made. The Russians will then send, this is the best part, because the HIMARS is such a high priority target because it's been destroying Russian ammunition depots, Russian command and control. In other words, local Russian headquarters. At least one Russian general was killed by a HIMARS reportedly. It has been such a disaster for the, and we think, who knows if they've been using it to attack Crimea, but it's been such a disaster that as soon as the Russians saw that they found the HIMARS, even though it was a fake, they immediately sent cruise missiles from the Black Sea. Now, the Russians don't have that many cruise missiles left. They've fired so many of them at Ukraine, but they would use them here because the HIMARS is so important. So the Ukrainians are basically suckering the Russians into using their cruise missiles, which is their best weapon, and they're running out of them against these pieces of wood. Now, why are the Russians running out? Because you need a lot of technology, including computer chips that the Russians can't get in order to build new ones because of the sanctions. So brilliant. The other thing, and this was really interesting, when I read this one today, I went, oh, that's funny. The other reason this is very cool, if the Russians don't have the ability to go after these fake HIMARS, well, actually, there's a second reason. Not only are you wasting the weapons, you're also protecting the real HIMARS because now the Russians aren't sure which one's real and which one isn't. So there's less of a chance of them hitting the real one because they could just as likely hit a fake one. So you're protecting them. The third reason, which I thought was very interesting, is that when the Russians see a fake HIMARS, they may not have a cruise missile available to shoot at it. So what they do is they freak out and they move their ammunition way further away to get, in other words, the ammunition has to be at least probably 60 miles from the HIMARS to protect it, because the current missiles the Russians have, the Ukrainians have, from us can go maximum about 60 miles. We think maybe 60 miles. So the Russians have to move their ammunition like twice as far away. And when it gets twice as far away, it's twice as hard to deliver. They need twice as many vehicles to deliver it. It becomes a disaster for them. So that's the first thing that's beautiful. So now you're basically making it harder for Russian troops at the front to get ammunition. The second reason was it also forces the Russians to move their command and control further away, out of range. Command and control being local headquarters of generals, commanders, whoever, who are in control of the guys locally. Well, if they're further away, it just makes it harder to communicate and harder to know what's going on. So this is the other added benefit. It's great. I mean, there's been, Ukrainians aren't the first ones to come up with this. I remember World War II watching a special about World War II, and I think they used inflatable tanks in World War II, for example, or we did, or the French did, or who are the English or somebody. Also, the Serbians during the war in 1999, when we bombed them justifiably, they also set up fake tanks to try to trick us. So this goes back to, was the English? Okay, it goes back to World War I think, as well. I think it goes back to World War I. It was the British. It was a wonderful documentary I saw on that was just amazing. And I think it was original video of it. It was just, and actually or was it a movie? Maybe you guys know what it was. It was about, like, I remember some of the guys that were doing it, but I think it was documentary film of it. It was really cool. I mean, the thing looked real and it was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I remember maybe back then they were wood and now they're inflatable, because I remember seeing the inflatable ones too and going, my God, did they use, actually, just point of order to get it correct here, were they using inflatable in World War II as well? Or were they just wood? Yep, we know it was the British. It's a documentary, then I did see it. Were they inflatable back then? For the Brits? Oh, they were. Okay, there you go. Then they were inflatable. Yeah, it looked so cool on camera. I was like, holy cow, you know? Now, who knows today whether you've got thermal imaging or whatever that you can try to distinguish that it's not a tank or whatever, right? Because it's not heating, it's not as hot, but still fascinating. What else is going on here? I will say generally, we're going to have a difficult time sort of finding out exactly what's been happening in the counteroffensive because the Ukrainians have been asking everybody to be very, very, very careful about what information they share. I've got here from a journalist, Sarah Ashton Cirillo, who is in Ukraine. Kyiv has just issued strict orders stating that no media may accompany, oh, this is interesting, no media may accompany frontline soldiers or any military units over the next week in the active theaters of war, including Kharkiv, Kherson, or the Donbas regions. Doing so will result in potential loss of accreditation. So they're not letting any embedded journalists at all, which is good. I mean, especially now in the age, I say good, now in the age of social media, it's very easy to have sort of information get out there. The Russians shelled a Red Cross base in Sloviansk. According to Ukraine's Red Cross Society Rapid Response Commander, Russian forces shelled a Red Cross evacuation unit with 152 millimeter artillery. There are no reports of casualties. The Russians are still having a hard time getting troops. According to Ukrainian intelligence, the Russians are now using up to 5,000 mercenaries in Ukraine, pretty much the Wagner group or the Wagner group, the pretty much monster mercenaries. And it's because the Russians can't get enough regular troops. Oh, that was for the other. Oh, too bad. That was a quote I had for the other thing. We'll deal with it later. The Vatican, this was good. The Vatican said for the first time today that Russia was the aggressor in the war. And they condemned Moscow's invasion in strong terms after earlier comments by Pope Francis prompted criticism from Kyiv. The Pope said, as for the large-scale war in Ukraine initiated by the Russian Federation, the interventions of the Holy Father, Pope Francis, are clear. Okay, the Vatican said, the Holy Father are clear and unequivocal in condemning it as morally unjust, unacceptable, barbaric, senseless, repugnant, and sacrilegious. Okay, that's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. I mean, who knows if his words matter? Well, they matter to Catholics, which is not a bad thing either. You know, in America, you got a lot of Catholics, so it doesn't hurt for them to hear the Pope say this is a just war on Ukraine's part. Yeah, no, that's well, and part of this was because last week the Pope jumped in and defended that Daria Dugina woman who got blown up by the car bomb. And we still don't know who, but let's face it, it looks like it was a Russian who blew her up. The Russians are claiming it was the Ukrainians. And the Pope came out and talked about how this poor innocent woman in the prime of her life was such a tragedy, and it shows the tragedy of war. And it's like she's a fascist lunatic who pretty much called for all Ukrainians to be killed. Like, she was not a young, beautiful woman in her prime. You know, she was the last person you should be. I mean, you can be against, killing people, but still, Well, that's a good question as to whether Daria is alive. An inflatable Daria, was in the car. Who knows? I mean, Latvia is going to introduce, this is good. Latvia is going to introduce additional checks for Russian, Belarusian citizens entering the country. According to the regulations adopted by the Latvian government on August 30th, when issuing a visa or residence permit, citizens of Russia and Belarus will have to undergo an additional check to assess whether their entry would pose a threat to national security or public order. There's also a wonderful video that I put up on TikTok of Russian, it's put together by Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, and it's Russian tourists in Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan is a border state of Russia. It used to be a part of the Soviet Union. And the Russian tourists are very upset because, of course, they went to Kazakhstan with the Z on their car. And they, Audrey, salut. They had with the Z on their car, and a bunch of the Kazakhs flipped out at them. They called them, they called it a Nazi symbol. The Kazakhs started calling their local police and saying there are cars here, and they've got tape of one of the guys doing it. There's a car here with a Nazi symbol on it, which I guess isn't allowed in Kazakhstan. The police came and fined the Russians. They gave them a fine. What else did they do? One other car, they yelled at the occupants so long and told them, get that thing off your car right now. You want to put it on in Russia's fine, not our country. These are local citizens. They took it off their car. And the Kazakhs were yelling. In another scene, the Kazakhs are yelling at them and saying, they said, you're a bunch of fascists. You invaded Ukraine. Basically get the hell out of our country. I mean, it was really amazing. Really amazing. But it's a great video. It's on my TikTok. Like I said, it's a great video. Really, it was good. Brilliant. Yes. Brilliant, as the Brits would say. Very brilliant. One last thing. Let me raise this one last thing, and then we can talk for another 15 minutes. But yeah, my voice is being a little weird tonight, so I may not go too long. My voice was, for those who are new, I had sort of a strained voice for about a month, and it's been good, but it's getting a little scratchy tonight, and I'd rather not get my vibrato back for another month. So listen to this. So SIPA, which is a, sort of a military strategy think tank type organization that I tend to think is good, but they put this out today, which I think is less good, quoting Edward Corcoran, saying, listen to this. Even as it arms Ukraine and supports it in its fight against Putin's aggression, the West needs to counter the Kremlin narrative and make clear it wants a successful future for Russia, built through collaboration and integration. And, a bunch of us were like, why? I mean, is this really the time that we should be? I mean, it's this. There's a wonderful, I'm going to actually show you this clip. It just drives me a little crazy because it's like, really? They're committing genocide in Ukraine, and your big fear is that the Russians think maybe we don't want them to succeed. Like, who the hell cares? Why do we even need to tell the Russians, right? Why do we even need to tell the Russians that? Whispering is worse for your voice, by the way. I read up on it and talked to the doctor as well. It's just I just can't force it. But you know what I mean? Like, why? I mean, sure, I could see, and I've read that Biden is concerned about this, that, they don't want a civil war in Russia. They don't want Russia to be totally destabilized and, because they're a nuclear power and you've got different parts of the country fighting each other and all of that. Fair enough. Okay. I can see that being a concern. But the idea that, again, the West needs to counter the Kremlin narrative and make clear it wants a successful future for Russia. Why? They keep talking about nuking us. They literally keep talking about nuking us. And we're supposed to go like do this. I don't get it. There are no polyps. No, there are no polyps. I already went to the doctor for that. But I just don't get it. It kind of boggles my mind. And it reminds me of the West Wing episode. There's a wonderful West Wing episode. And Bruno, who's sorry, my allergies are kicking in now. Bruno, who's the consultant, the election consultant, is talking to them about some election posters they need to do or flyers or whatever. And he's arguing about these words, and the staff of Bartlett, the president, are saying, oh, no, we can't use those words. That's against federal election laws. And he goes, yeah, you can. No, we aren't allowed to advocate or outside, whatever the hell it was. And Bruno goes, no. We're allowed to use certain words. These are the words we're allowed. And the president's staff goes, well, yeah, but that's basically the same thing. We shouldn't do that anyway. And Bruno's like, no, it's not the same thing. Under the law, you're allowed to say these things in your messages, and we're going to say them. And the White House staff keeps going on again about, but that just wouldn't be right. So Bruno goes on this, you can Google it. Bruno goes on this minute and a half long tirade about how he's sick and tired of working for Democrats because Democrats don't want to win. And all Democrats want to do is worry about, oh gosh, what are we doing? Are we doing something wrong? And mind you, it's good to worry about if you're doing something wrong, but not when you're doing something right. And that's what he was arguing. So he's as mom's trying to sneak in the room here. So the final line from Bruno was that oh, this is cute. Mom's dog. Mom, well, mom, do you want to leave her? We're live here, Mom. Do you want to just leave her for now? She's happy.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. My mom's dog decided to squeeze in next to my dog who isn't feeling well, which is actually kind of cute. Oh, she's following you now. That was cute though.
Okay, come on, my mom.
That was cute. She actually went. She actually went. The dog had squeezed in next to my dog, which was very sweet. And she's moving very slowly, the way she always does. Go, Gla, go. It's okay, Sasha. That's okay. And of course, and Sasha down below. There you go. Sasha down below, who had surgery today. I just heard a low level. Basically, get out of here, dog. But in any case, so Bruno's last line after he's so frustrated with these Democrats who just don't want to fight, he goes, basically you sit there, the Republicans beat you and beat you and beat you, and rather than fighting back, all you can say is, oh, what's the line again? Oh yeah, all you do, you don't fight back. All you do is say, please don't hurt me. And it's the most beautiful like soliloquy that he gives in West Wing. It's one of the best ones he's ever done, and it's brilliant. And it makes me think of actually, I think it is correct for Democrats today, but also it reminds me of this dealing with Russia, because there's a lot of the same attitude dealing with Russia. Oh gosh, the Russians can talk about nuking us, but let's not say anything mean about them because they might get mad, and if they get mad, who knows what they'll do? There's just this whole crazy, it's this whole crazy thing. I don't know. I find it very strange. All right, guys, let's do a couple questions, and then we will call it quits. All right, because as I said, I don't want to. The voice is already getting scratchy, and I don't want to mess with it. So what do we got? If anybody put any on here, I can look on the Q&A for TikTok. Let me see. Oops. Sorry, I'm looking here and making sure which one they're coming to. Oop, hang on. Oh, okay. Good. My delivery came. Let me go to TikTok and see if anybody has a question here. What part of Greece is my family from? Southern Greece.
Hello.
wasn't thinking that question, but that's okay. Somebody's saying the Miria report all day saying the Antonovsky Bridge is down. Define down. I mean, what I'm hearing is that that they basically damaged it enough again that that the Russians aren't able to use it. I don't think the bridge has ever been down, because it's such a big bridge and it's apparently very hard to bring a bridge down. So I don't know, unless it really got destroyed, but they've been basically making so many holes in the bridge that the Russians aren't able to get across. And I did read that they made the bridge unusable again, but who knows? If they really destroyed it, that'd be pretty cool. If it's in the water, that would be pretty hot. Danielle, good to see you. What exactly is a tanky? I would think a tanky is a tanker. Like somebody who drives a tank. No, I keep seeing it being used, and I get that they are bad. Oh, I don't know, but I don't really get the concept. Are they still a thing today? I don't know what a tanky is. Then what's a tanky? Folks, anybody? What's a tanky? Anybody know? Military folks out there? Daniel says he's seeing it used in a pejorative way. Okay. For communists, especially Stalinists, who support the authoritarian tendencies of Marxist-Leninism. Interesting. No, Chomsky is a tanky. Is a pejorative label for communists, especially Stalinists, who support the authoritarian tendencies of Marxism-Leninism. Okay. Leninism. Interesting. Okay. I'm worried that Ukraine keeps pounding the canal section of the Novakhovka Bridge dam. Seems like they could be weakening the dam. That's an interesting answer. Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting question. Certainly. Yeah. Now, I've wondered about that with the dam. There's one of the bridges is near the dam. Now, by the way, it depends where the dam goes, because you might recall that the Ukrainians blew up a dam in north of Kyiv, and they did it to basically drown all the Russian troops and trap them. So that is a possible. I was thinking tank crew. Exactly, Andy. I wonder if that's what they're doing. In other words, I would be very curious to see if the dam in northern Kherson were to be destroyed on the Dnipro or near the Dnipro River, where would that water flow? Is it water that would flow into an area where the Russian troops are gathered, for example? It makes me wonder. In other words, maybe we shouldn't be worried that that is what would happen next. No, this is cute. Mom's dog came back to sleep next to my dog again. I'll give her credit for it. Mom's dog drives me nuts when she's always barking during my show, but because my dog isn't feeling well today, she had a little surgery, had stitches on her side, that the mom's dog came and literally came next to her and slept next to her, which my dog hates, and now is on the floor next to her, which again, my dog hates, but it's very cute. The mom's dog is much more affectionate with other dogs than my dog is. My dog is affectionate with people, but other dogs, she's kind of like, stay in your lane. Oh my God. What else we got? Or if Ukraine's successful, Russia may blow up the dam. Yeah, it depends. It depends which way it goes. I'm Sasha's home care nurse. Exactly. It depends which way the water goes. If the dam were broken, I don't know. The Q&A. Hi, Sash. What's going on? Oh, that's okay. I heard that too. That was a motorcycle. Yeah. Sasha heard a motorcycle go by downstairs. Outside. She wasn't thrilled. That's okay. Good girl. All right. That's okay. I did give her some painkiller right before the show started. She was kind of whining, and I always feel bad. I shouldn't say whining. It's whimpering, and it's horrible to hear. Like, as a pet parent, I can only imagine it's like having kids, and you hear them in pain, and you're like, oh, God. That's okay. You want to lay down so I don't have to worry about you jumping on things? Okay. That's okay. Lay down. But yeah, she heard a motorcycle. She hates motorcycles. Thank you, Tom, for the cactus. Hold on. I think I'm going to shut the door. No, don't you dare. Okay. There we go. There you go. Sorry, she was trying to sneak out the door. Why don't you come down? Come lay down. Here you go. Go lay down, Sash. Here, go lay down. There. Up there you go. All right. Sorry, guys. I do not want her leaving because she leaves the room and then she jumps up on the couch. The vet's like, don't have her jump on anything. And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to do that? Want to lay down? Good luck stopping your dog from jumping. And my dog, being a little spry dog, is like, boom, on top of my chair, on top of the couch. I'm just like going, oh God, stop. All right. Okay, she's laying. You good? All right, there you go. Okay. Sorry, guys. Dog comes first. I apologize. I can see the TikTokers dropping. Sorry, TikTokers. Don't mean to be rude. Rob Wall says a CNN report stated that Ukraine's military has lost 30 to 40% of their personnel. Oh, I'm sure. If this is close to reality, how long is the war sustainable? The Russians have too. The Russians have lost, 40 to 50%. Thank you, Truthful. So, both sides have. So who knows? Who knows? The problem is on both sides, that's the kind of number that starts to hurt the efficiency of your units. Like, I should say the effectiveness of the units. So, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. But as I said, the Russians have lost, I think, even more, which is good news. But, at least it helps the Ukrainians in the sense that they're fighting a force that is also not doing very well. And the question becomes, both sides are losing big. That's true. All right, maybe one or two more questions, guys, and then I'm going to call it quits. So I don't want to, as I said, ruin my voice here. The water supply canal to Crimea leaves just upstream from the dam, so maybe Russia would hesitate. The water supply canal to Crimea leaves just upstream from the dam. Oh, it starts all the way up there? I know that Crimea gets its water via Kherson, the province. That I knew. I did not know that it started all the way up there where the dam is by the river. That's interesting. Well, okay, but there's an interesting question. Thank you, Chad, for that, the hat. That's an interesting question. If the dam were to burst, would it cut off the water for Crimea, because again, that gets interesting. Thank you, Bonnie. That gets interesting as far as about whether you're hurting the Russians or hurting the Russian troops. That could be. I mean, I still maintain I'd like to know more about it, because it's interesting as to whether, yeah, I'm not worried about a nuclear war either. Somebody was talking about nuclear wars and not worrying. The dam was blown up in World War II. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. All right, guys. You know what? It's 6:30. I'm going to call it quits because I've now been talking for an hour and a half total, 45 minutes on this and 45 minutes on Trump. Tomorrow, we will most likely, thank you, Bonnie, for that. Or was it Bonnie, or who was that? Oh, no, that was Lori doing the paper crane. Thanks, Lori. Tomorrow, that's Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie. Tomorrow, we will do just a Ukraine update. Same time, well, not same time as this, but same time as normal, which would be 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern time, which is New York City time, Washington, D.C. time. I'm going to skip the recap for today, just because I said my voice is getting a little scratchy, and I'd rather not. If you don't mind, guys, just because it's a bit scratchy today. So I'm going to sign off. Thanks for joining us. And tomorrow we will do just Ukraine. I mean, as always, unless something, well, I am not Joe Rogan. So there you go. I am going to, anyway, we check the news each day. Thank you, Alicia. If something huge happens in Trump land, then I'll do some Trump news too. Not going to do Discord either, because it's been an hour and a half. Normally I do 1 hour, and then I go to Discord for maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. But this has been an hour and a half here, so this is what we got. But you guys are free to go to the Discord. That's discord.aravosis.com. And please, 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 if you can help us reach that $5,000 total to give for Ukrainian troops. And as a thank you, we're going to get our message put on the side of a Ukrainian howitzer that is going to stay there for the duration of the war. We will get a video of it firing, which would be totally cool, with our message on it. And I just think that would be kind of neat. And we'd be able to help the Ukrainians. And we are getting there. As I said, we're look again at the number we got. 33333. I will find this before we go. 3,457. But if I add in the rest of the money, it might get us to 4,000 already. So I would say a conservative estimate is we need another $1,000. More liberal, 1,500 would be nice, because then I could take the rest of the money and we could do something humanitarian. Because Vlad has some other humanitarian ideas of additional things you cannot write off for U.S. taxes. No, because this isn't a charity, so to speak. It's not a U.S. registered charity, etc. Sorry, you can donate on TikTok. You can find it via my link in my profile. So just go to the link in my profile, the Beacons link. It says beacons.ai, and you'll see the top thing talks about it, but you will see my PayPal, my Venmo, and my Cash App on that page. The link takes you to it, and I'll just show you the link so you know what I'm talking about, and you can send it to either one, Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. I am not going to take a dime of it. I'm going to send all the money to Ukraine, so you can rest assured of that, which is why I am happy to hit you up hard. So yeah, look right there. You see the link there that says https://beacons.ai right above the live event. So that link is the link. You hit it, and when you get to that page, now let me see. Sometimes they've been putting an ad lately. TikTok keeps putting ads there. Yeah, they're putting ads. They're so bad now. They know people have the outside links, so they put up an ad. So when you get the ad, you've now got to hit the left-hand corner arrow, and then it takes you to my page. And then on that page, you can find my PayPal, my Venmo, my Cash App, etc. And as I said, I'm not touching the money. It'll all go for this project. And if we get any extra, we'll use it for the next humanitarian thing we do. But we should be so lucky as to get extra at this point. We still need 1,000, 1,500. So thanks, guys. All right. Signing off. I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Discord is discord.aravosis.com. So check it out. All right. Discord link is also in my Beacons link in my profile on TikTok. That's true. I should tell people that anyway. Is it discord.gg/Aravosis? That I don't even know. I always do discord.aravosis.com. I don't even know that one. I'm going to trust you there, Dino. All right, guys. Thank you so much. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.